Hey, it's me again. Um, I'm not a big science nerd. Probably not smart enough to be one anyway, but I'm just not really that interested in it. But I occasionally will geek out a little bit on physics, certain like mind-boggling concepts that I will for most of the time put away because they're very difficult to grasp. I think for most people they're probably impossible to grasp, and I'm probably included in that. And I find that a lot of them just aren't really that useful to most people's lives, and it's kind of no point in frustrating yourself trying to understand something that might not even be understandable, even to the people. I think it's, some of the stuff is impossible to internalize. It's impossible to have an intuition about, because our brains were not evolved to have intuitions about such things. The people that know about it from the math. But I think in a lot of cases even they can't intuitively grasp it. But I'll occasionally think about this speed of light business and try to wrap my brain around the fact that the speed of light is constant. Now, a lot of people say there's nothing to wrap your brain about. It's just a fundamental. It's a fundamental property of the universe. It just is what it is. Yeah, but I feel like there's something that my brain's not understanding that I need to understand. Will I ever understand it? I don't know. But I felt like today I might have made a little bit of progress in understanding it, so I figured I'd share it with you if you're in the same predicament. Because I really think that a lot of the problem comes in with language. Now, I'm sure it's not the whole problem, but I think like people have a misunderstanding of the quote-unquote speed of light because of the language being used, the speed of light. And it's kind of been done to death about how the speed of light has nothing to do with light. The light part is very misleading. It's not really the speed of light. It's really just like, but that kind of, I was trying to think about it without getting into the other half of my point, but I don't think I can. It's intertwined, so I'll just get to it. I think the term speed is also misleading. I don't think the concept we're talking about is a speed of anything. I think we need a different word. Now, on the other hand, maybe it is in some way the speed of something, because we know that the quote-unquote speed of light is finite. We know that it takes a certain amount of time for light to get from the sun to the earth, for example, about 8 minutes. So in some way, maybe it is a speed. But I think the problem that I have had that kind of allowed me to have an epiphany today when I thought differently about it is that my brain just couldn't accept that, okay, you're driving down the street at some speed and you throw a ball forward at some speed. And of course the ball has to be the speed of the vehicle plus the speed of that you threw the ball. Because the ball was already moving at the speed of the car, and then you threw the ball forward, and so they have to add together. How can it be possible that if you shine a light forward, that it is not the speed of light plus the speed of the car? It's only the speed of light. And I think a lot of that refusal of your brain to accept comes into conceptualizing it as a speed of something moving forward. I don't think that that's actually what's going on with light. I mean, we already know that light is not matter, does not have mass. And so I don't think when light is being propagated that it's a thing that's moving. I think it's something else. Or, again, taking out the whole light part of the equation. I don't think the point is light. I think it's I think it's just a fundamental. It's man, this stuff is so difficult. It's like even when you have thoughts about it, sometimes it's hard to verbalize. But I'm trying to think of a way to say this where I'm not just like repeating what other people have said, because I don't think that's really helpful. I mean, anyone can go on Space-Time and hear people a lot smarter than I am talk about it. What I'm trying to do is bring it down to a level that maybe you and I can understand. Because what I'm wanting to say is this speed of causation. I think it's like a speed of reality. It's not a speed of anything moving. It's just there's a fundamental speed at which reality occurs. I think that might be the best way to, if you conceptualize it like that. And I think a lot of people that have a certain way of thinking, maybe a conservative, small c, nothing to do with politics, but a conservative way of thinking where you want things to make sense in a conventional way. They don't like these things that they in physics that they think are strange, and so they might not like this business about talking about how the speed of light is constant when nothing else's speed is constant. But I think that it should be a comfort to people with a conservative mind that what it really is it's the one thing that's like a rock on which reality sits. It's the one thing that doesn't change. It's the one thing that makes reality real, because you're saying like, oh, I don't even know if I'm moving or you're moving. I don't know if time is going by at my speed or your speed. I mean, you start to wonder, like, is anything real? Well, there is one thing that's real, and that's this speed, if you want to call it that. But this rate, if you will, of the unfolding of reality is always the same to everybody. That's the one thing that's always the same. So I don't know. Am I making any sense to you? If you're a physicist, you're probably going to come on and tell me I'm a complete idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I kind of feel like maybe after watching a couple videos and thinking about this is like the closest I've ever been to like getting my brain to accept this concept that, because if it's just an object moving, it's just not possible for it to not add up its constituent velocities. It has to. So I don't think that people describe it as something moving from one place to another are describing it properly. I think it's more of I think they're more on the right track on BBS Space-Time when they talk about being the speed of causality, except that I don't think that speed is even the right word. I think it's more of just like it's the essence. It's the essence of causality, or something like that, or the rate of causality. And it makes me really think. Like, I know that they claim that there is a such thing as a photon. It's a physical thing, but then I don't know. Language seems to get in the way again, because when you say physical, I think a lot of people attach the word physical to matter. And matter has certain properties and limitations. And a photon is not matter. A photon is massless. So it is in that sense, it's not physical. And so I think, like, I don't know, a lot of these, like, I think language is a barrier to a lot of people in understanding some of this stuff. We have to understand that light doesn't follow the same. Light and anything else that doesn't have mass. Like, basically, I kind of think of it as in a certain sense, if something doesn't have mass, it's not really real in the sense that we humans, latch our brains onto. So we're trying to think of something real in that sense being thrown out the front of a moving vehicle. And we know that something real like that would have to add the velocities. but but uh, but I think the propagation of light, even though they claim that it is a particle, is not a real. It's not real. It's a consequence or a wave. I mean, a wave would make a lot more sense to me if you're saying it's a wave, because a wave is an emergent property. A wave is not an actual thing. So for light to be a wave would make a hell of a lot more sense than it being a particle. But I don't know. Anyway, those are just my thoughts.